everyone. Today I want to work on this rocket I made. Got it on the little slant because the stupid fan. So anyways, I made this out of a button and some wire probably 20 years ago. And recently I've been wanting to do a space diorama with my painting and kind of add it all together and redo this rocket type situation here. I thought about just using these little seed beads and putting stars around it, but I wanted to add in a little bit of AI and some planets or something to give it a little more than what this is right now, which is, it's cute. I sanded this down and painted it with silver paint and then sanded it again. And it worked for 20 years, but I'd like to update it. So that's what we're going to be doing today. As you can see, I was very poor, a single mother. And so sometimes you just made things out of what you could make them out of for decorations, because feeding your children is way more important than decorating your house. But I just took off the wire and I'm going to take off some of this. See if we can't get this button out of here. This stuff is just, that's some sticky tape right there. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and the glass was broken. This is the original frame that I used. Anyways, it was so generic that this is black craft paint with napkins for cushion so I could sew through it. When I was pregnant with my first baby, Martha Stewart was on TV and I had to stay home, and I guess I glued this stuff. Yeah, I must have super glued it. I thought I sewed the button. Anyways, Martha's my hero, and so I'd sit home and watch her, and then do different projects. Yep, see, there we go. It was just a little button, and I thought it was the cutest thing. Little spaceship. But I wanted to make this go somewhere else. I wanted to throw some meteors in there. Maybe some robots. I'm not going to use all this. I made this out of a button. I got a button that was old and needed to go. It was just a happy birthday button that, when we go to Houston, if it's your birthday and you wear this button, people pin dollars to you. And so every year in Houston, it's my son's birthday because he's a March 17th. He's a St. Patrick's Day baby. And so the button was getting wore out and we needed to get a new one. So I just peeled the top off and cut out some skins. I don't know where they are. But anyways, you can take your round object and cut out a skin in a circle. And then put some polyurethane or polyacrylic on whatever you're covering and slowly glue it down until you come out with things like this. And then just recoat over it with some polyacrylic. And I put a little shading on one side and a little highlight on the other so that it would give a round look if I use it. But I've picked all this stuff up. These I've had for 20 years. These are some old earrings. Same here, old earrings. I like this piece. I like this piece for something in the background that makes it look like a building, a space age AI building. I might use this in the background with some mountains. It had a skin. Here it is. Yeah, it had a skin that kind of looks like mountains. And when you put this here, this on top, to me it kind of looked like a futuristic building. But I've been wanting to do a space diorama. And so what I did was went to Hobby Lobby and bought a shadow box. And I wanted it to be able to fit an 8x10 canvas in there so I could paint on the canvas and then attach the things in my diorama to make a little galaxy scene. I can't decide if I want to go this way or this way. I keep looking at it like this, but I think in reality that this would probably be the best way. So what I did yesterday was took my piece and scraped the black velvet, which is just paper, it's not even velvet, but and the cushion, and I scraped it all down and scraped it off with my pie swipe. This. Just got under there and scraped until I got everything off so that my canvas would fit inside. Like that. And then it wouldn't fit down with all the cushion. But once I took all the cushion off, it was fine. I mean, it takes a little bit to get it in there, but you can at least get it in there. And then what you're left with is your painted background, diorama on top. I thought about maybe putting this on the glass in front so that it'd be like a landscape with a little building, you know, the rocket taking off, or even going through space. Really not sure yet, but that's kind of what the plan is. I think this would be cool in front with your stuff in the back, to where like you're looking, your view is on the strange planet looking out into the universe. So that's the plan. Now we'll have to see how it works out. I have all these, got a lady robot. Then I got this little thing I got from NASA a long time ago. It was a keychain, a little robot. They look like they could be married. So I just took the pieces off I wanted and left the others behind. So I'm still not sure if I'm going to use the people. I really want a focus on this because this was the original piece that inspired me to redo my diorama. So I thought we could use these for meteors and stuff. So let's get started. Okay, so I have decided on a background and a layout of my diorama. I've got this shadow box, and I think nothing's attached right now, but I think I'm going to put this in the foreground. This will be part of the planet. That's a skin I've cut out, and it resembled a mountain scene. And then here's this. Nothing's attached, it's just laid out. Little planets. This is a station. I think this is going to be an AI planet. So artificially intelligent creatures of their own planet. But they're all metal, plastic, and electricity. So anyways, I'll get started and show you what I did. First I painted the background all black. And then just like everything else, I laid it out and played with it, painted it some more, laid it out and painted with it, played with it some more. I use these for antennas or stations, towers. But all this is skin. So this is what I started with. I painted it all black, put some stars on it, and then did the Milky Way type gases and stuff in this color. I wanted to kind of pick up rust and orange. Just kind of different looking, different colors. Things like that. So sprinkled some stars on it, and now it's time to attach everything. And so I wanted to go over things with you guys. So I'm gonna put this up because I've been painting this shadow box. Because I noticed when I put this stuff on here, it didn't give me that deep look I was looking for, because the sides, the inside of the shadow box wasn't painted. And it just left out this, it just left this incomplete look. Let's see if you can see it. See how that looks on this side? It just cuts off. There's no 3D look to the side. But then when you look on this side where I painted it, let me take this stuff off. Couldn't turn the light on because it was reflecting. Well, anyways, you can't, I don't know if you can pick it up or not. Psst. Looks a lot better when you paint the inside of your shadow box also. So you get that 3D look to it. So I was going to show you what I did to it. Let me turn the light back on. Okay. So I put a black layer of paint on with my flat brush. You can tape off a glass part or not. And I just painted it with black, just so that it had this gray tone to it that just did not match the paint or anything. So I'm going to use the same paint as I used in the canvas and paint it black. So then I grab a little bit of blue, phthalo blue. That's the color we've been using. It doesn't have to be much, just a little bit, and it gives the illusion that it's continuation of space. Also, it matters the way this was, because I want to get up in here with the blue and the purple on this side so that it's cohesive. So this needs to transfer up here, kind of like that. So I'm going to start with getting some blue in there. Just straight out of the tube, phthalo blue. Like that. I have a couple pieces of tape. And if you need to get close, you just tape it like that. And you can really get in there. See, we're still measuring about where it is. Just kind of fading it back. Same thing over here. Turn it this way. Grab some phthalo blue. Just some in the corner. Then I want to put some of the aqua. No. About out of it. Used it for a lot of things. I have a whole series with this stuff in it. Just pretty cool because I've got hostile planets. Got a snake skin, a bug, all kinds of things. It's about time to get some new. So I'm just going to put that in there. Just lay it around. Get a smaller round-headed brush. And just tap it in. Kind of spreading it out. I had let the black paint dry. And so this is just the phthalo blue and a little bright aqua green from Basics. These are the colors I've used on the Milky Way. These two primarily on this color, or this side, and these two primarily on this side, and then a mix of both on out. And that's how I got those. So I'm just kind of bringing it around. Like I said, this needs to have some purple in it. So we'll do the same thing, taking the purple. I'm going to wipe this off. So this is kind of a dry brush technique. Get some of that purple. Just kind of tap it out. And then like that. So it's kind of like this. So bring this over here too. Just so it mixes really well. And there's that. Any kind of diorama. You want to do the inside of your shadow box if you're painting the background in a scene of some sort. Like this, just so you get that 3D effect. Like that. So I'm going to let that dry, and then we'll go in and put some stars on it, and that'll be ready. So since we have paint and everything on here, I'm going to take this. It's not really going to matter what color I use. I'm just going to pick up some paint and lay this out. So it's going to be like this, or this. Make sure you're still in there. Yep. Okay. So I'm going to lay this one out here, but I want it to go over this one. And so I'm going to lay this one down first. I'm going to see what happens. I'll just put some paint on the middle of this, like this. See if we can get the fresh paint to bond with it. Let's see if we can't get it to paint itself on. My table's a filthy mess. I had a little bone scraper thing. I just don't see it right now. Got this rubber. Just to get any kind of air bubbles out of it. Lay it down like that. And get some more. This is going to go down like this. No. Let's see, I think it was all the way. Yep. this just softens it up. This could be horrible and not work at all. But I think for now, since this paint is so fresh, that if I stick these skins on right here, we'll see in a couple days and I'll do an update. See how they stuck? Just hoping they'll meld with it and become one. So I'm gonna drop this here. I wanted to get that little dot there. Well, it lays down pretty good. Sticking pretty good. It's like when you dig an eggshell out with the eggshell, the environment reacts better to it because it's the same environment. That's what it's accustomed to. There we go. Just like that, and we'll let it dry. So, there's that. We might have to put this on the outside of the glass so that I can paint it. I might be able to resin this piece too. That'd be pretty cool. If I could resin it by itself. One layer and then add maybe a second layer on top and then adhere this piece to the outside. I think that might be pretty neat. Okay. So then there is attaching pieces. How are we going to attach these pieces? This piece, I think I'm going to glue something onto it. And then a little box. And then glue it on so I can get it to stand out a little higher. I'll have to find something for that. But let's think of something like this. Like that, so we get more 3D. What do you think about that? I kind of like it. And this would be tucked under. So I'm going to go look for something like that. And we'll come back when these two pieces are dry and do some more. Here's a close-up. Let's see. Okay, this is the sewing portion, and I've sewn on these pieces with some fishing line and just a regular old needle. Actually, these needles are from TG&Y from the 70s, maybe 80s, but I don't think TG&Y made it that far. But so today I'm going to show you how I'm sewing this on. I'll show you the back. Turn on the light. It was making a glare. So here I've just gone around with the fishing line. This is a 4-pound test line. I use it to fish for crappie. And I thought it'd work out great in a regular needle. So I'm just going in and out of the painted pieces, laying them where I want. See if we can get a shot of those. This was a rhinestone left over. My child used to rodeo in the play days and things, and I would make her fancy shirts and embellish her jeans and whatnot because I was too poor to buy fancy clothes. So I had this stuff left over. Anyways, I found this little crappy lens thing. And so I'm going to glue it down and glue this on top so it gives it more of a 3D raised effect. And then this will go right here. So I decided the male and the female AI would go somewhere around in here. Also found this little thing. I found this whole set of camera. It was cheap, I think it came from, I don't really remember. But I thought I would put it in here for like the AI telescope. And then put this down. Like this. With these on top. Like little mountains. Something like that. I'm not too sure about these yet. Really not too sure about any of it. But I am sure of this placement. I really like it. I think it's doing great so far, so that's what we're going to do. I just wanted to show you how to sew this on. Some of this stuff can be sewn on. Some of it's going to have to be glued on. Like this, the planet things. Definitely going to have to be glued on. So what I do is get the place where I want. Take my thread. I've already tied it off. And I'm going to just go in here and feel. I'd like to go in with one on her neck. So I'm just pulling my needle through there, finding it. Like that. Going right back in next to her neck, making sure it lines up right where I want. And then I'm going to tie this off. Just making a regular old knot. And pulling it tight like that. And the great thing about this stuff is it holds its shape and it won't come undone as easy as thread. That's kind of why I like it. So I want to do one up and around her antennae. If you push your needle, you can kind of see where it's moving. Come up, back down right next to that antenna. Pull my extra thread. Do the next antenna. Also have some wreath lights that the wreath is getting crusty and I probably won't use it anymore. So I was thinking about taking the little battery operated lights off and incorporating them into this little diorama because I think that'd be super cute. That seems pretty sturdy. It's got 3 points of contact. So I think that'll be plenty. Then I'm going to knot it again. Like that. Pull tight. Give it a second knot. Pull tight. And so now we're ready for the next robot. So I want to leave him attached where if it moves, I want it to jingle jangle a little bit. I don't know why. So I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to hold him with my thumb. Take my thread and go around his neck. That's his ear. See the needle right there? I need to go over just a hair more. Count a few stitches in the canvas. There it is. Pull it through. Go right next to his neck. I'll make sure he's lined up. Yep. And go right through again. And there it is. Watching him go in. I think I'm going to go around him twice. Because he is a little heavier than she is. And he's got moving parts and stuff. So I'm going to pull tight. Go back around. Just kind of have to have patience. The needle. I'm obviously not in the right spot. You go over a little bit and down. It's better. There it is. Pull it tight. Back in. Watching that it does loop the neck. There it is. So I'm going to tie it and pull. Make sure my needle's not coming undone. So now he's loose. I'm gonna go around this area, attaching his body onto it. A little further up. There it is. And then going back down. Making sure your loop is going right where it needs to go. I'm gonna go again. Just to make sure. Now, hold this, go back down. Try it again. I pick up a thread, go under the thread, make this loop, go back through the loop and pull tight. That one did not tie like I wanted it to. So I'm gonna make this loop. Put a pin in there. I don't like that at all. I'll try one more loop. Through both of those loops before letting it go. There it was. Now he's secure. Okay. I'm gonna cut this little bit off. So I'm threaded the line and I leave one piece out. The other piece I tie. Let's go over with a few turns and pull tight. Like that. Leave an inch or so of tail, inch and a half. There we go. Okay, so I have these pins with these cute little purple heads, and I want to use it as an antenna. And so I'm just kind of pushing this in here. That really doesn't need to be sewn in. That worked out really great. This is holding on real good with the paint mixture. It's been a day. I've been doing a little bit of it, a couple little shots each day. And using paint to adhere this to that fresh paint really worked. So this is just hiding. I can't see it anywhere. It's nice and stable. And then this pin has this purple stuff on it. The paint. And I don't want that on there. So I'm just kind of going over, knocking that paint off with these needle nose pliers. It's got these ridges in there. It just kind of cleans it off. You can do this with sandpaper. Anyways, like that. It did look like this. Okay, so I wanted another one right over here. I just want these to look like little towers in the distance. Like that. Not too bad. Might not be using this thread. No, I'm going to, because this one doesn't have a lot of support. Cleaning this off again. Now this one, I want it to be a succession of 3. I want them to get shorter and shorter. So I'm gonna cut the end of this one off. Just about 1/2 inch. Like that. And put it in here, next to it, parallel. And then I was going to push it in. This one's resisting because it has no tip. So it needs a little finagling. So it's definitely gonna get sewn in. That's good enough. I think this mountain might be covering it. But what I did want to do, oh, it goes this way. No, it goes this way. What I do want to do is make sure the distance between the shadow box and this, I want there to be a little robot city where you have to look around it to find it. And I want there to be things you find that you didn't realize they were theirs, you know, several weeks later, month later, year later. Who knows, you know. But sometime in the future, I want there to still be things to find in here. And so I'm going to do a little AI city down here. And with some lights. Like it's a launch pad type situation. Everybody's out and they have their own jobs to do. So let's take this again. And we've already made our knot in the end. And then we have the other end loose. Like this. And I'm just going to go up by the head. Make sure it looks parallel with the end here. And then go back in. Pull through the back. Like that. And then I'll go to the next one. Make sure these two are parallel because visually it's very important. The canvas is in the back. It's hard to figure out. There it is. Nope. A little bit further down, a little bit further in. I do this from the back. Sometimes you have to get up in there. This one's taller, so it needs to go lower. Let's see what we got now. Still not close enough. I'm pushing up from the back with my thumb, trying to shove it in there. A little bit, few more stitches. Just wanted to go into the wood. Not one of my brightest ideas, let me tell you. That's good enough. It's gonna be easier going down because I can angle the line. I want to make sure they're looking good and parallel. I'm gonna give it a pull and then go right back down. There it is. Sometimes I take my needle nose, grab it. Oh, took my thread. How annoying. Pulled that out of there. Well, that went in there a lot better. Oh. But they're not parallel. That's stupid. I cut all this out. I do like to leave my crap in the videos because just to show everybody that everybody goes through spells where working for you, but okay, so let's move on. I might just dot those with a bit of glue. And what we were going for was the shadow box. Put my and the underside of the shadow box where we put a little atmosphere. We're going to put some stars on there. Doesn't need a whole bunch. Just needs to give the illusion that there's stars there. And so I'm going to just randomly put some on here. For me, I like to do constellations a little bit, like Orion's Belt and the Dipper, so that I don't make patterns. Put 2 by 1, one over here, because I usually like to sprinkle them with watered down white paint. But I think this would just be too much. Try to keep it as random as possible. It's really hard to not go into making patterns. You can kind of see a pattern here. 3 lines, 3 lines, 3 lines. So I'm going to break that pattern and change it up. We want big ones and small ones. I'm just using the tiniest little brush. When I do a line, I'll put one close to the glass, the next one further from the glass. Two by the glass. Couple big ones. Some out by the edge. Let's do another little dipper, big dipper. Love this little piece in the corner. So I'm going to give it some extra stars. It's fine to have void areas like this with no stars. Just want to make sure there's no pattern. Just keep going around adding stars, bigger stars. I have this owl thumbtack. Speaking of things, the owl is going to be watching the telescope, or he might be in control of the little army. But this thing's filthy. Definitely going to clean the glass before Too dark. Like this. I want it to be looking at the viewer. So when you're looking in the center of this, their telescope's looking back at you like they're watching you. So I'm going to incorporate this. I might paint some of this stuff silver or gold and leave the lens black. Maybe glue this lens on the outside so that it's like 3D. I don't know. So anyways, get back to the stars. Just getting the smallest amount of paint on the brush. Well, anyways, just adding stars. Get some close. Let's keep dabbing them on there until I run out of paint. I think that's good. Let's see what it looks like. Oops. So here's the back coming in and out. And see how that just gives it more of a presence with the stars up here? Just gives it a deeper look. Let's see. Well, there's too much crap in the background. There's no way. Okay, so next time we're going to glue this to the inside or the outside. I haven't decided. But I'm going to light up this bottom part down here with those little plug-in lights. And like I said, this is going to go on there. This will go in there with a little bit. And then we also have to add our planets. So we'll be back with that. Y'all have a good day.